stone. Welcome back to another video. So last night was my biggest heat treat session that I have ever done. Back on with that cozy hoodie. I heat treated a lot of knives here, a bunch of which, look at that beautiful steel. That's the right of the tempering oven look there now. All heat treated. We still have a bunch there over here that I'll probably get to tonight. Some of you are wondering why I didn't show the video of that. And I'll tell you that I never show my heat treating process. For one, I can't give away all my secrets, man. I have to save some stuff. And for two, it's just from a quality control perspective. I really need to be on my game when it comes to heat treats. So I can't be fiddling around with the camera, moving it, turning it on, turning it off. It just, I really need to be zoned in. Of course, the forge is dangerous as well. You really got to be careful and be safe around it. I don't want to have any distractions. I don't usually bring the camera out, and I just get to work. So I was really in the zone last night. Went through a batch, filled the oven while those were tempering. Let my oil cool back down to the right temperature. We quench another batch and harden them. Let's have a look at that Bowie. So there we are. That's the finish straight out of the tempering oven. So you see it's gooey, grimy there now. And what we'll do is a very special wire wheeling to get the perfect finish, my favorite finish. So we'll get to that now. We'll get to see some beautiful, beautiful knives. I'm gonna sit down here like an old man to the wire wheel and get the finish on these that I really, really like. Trying to sit down a little bit more lately when I can, take some pressure off my back, my feet. Especially these days, I'm pulling really long days and a lot of shop hours, just helping to relieve some of the stress. Okay, so now we're getting to that finish. Have a look at that. Perfectly matte, very dark, but you don't want a perfectly even finish. It has to have that mixiness. Just look at that. Man, that is pretty. There we go, that's a saber grind bake apple right there. Forge finish. Scandi grind bake apple. So good. And then the one that a lot of you are waiting to see. Forge finish Bowie. Look at the size of that blade. Looks so good, that little swedge there catching the light, you see that? Looks great. Look at those heat treat lines there. Isn't that beautiful? Wait till you see what we do next. We get a nice flat surface here and our piece of brass. This we have pre-drilled and pre-fitted for the knife. Just sort of an over-tight fit. Because when we do our bit of filing and cleaning now, we want it to still be a snug fit. So we're just going to sand it, because we've got to surface it before we install it on the knife, or we'll never be able to get the finish we want on it. So that is right now. So we'll start with one grit. Let me show you here. That's I used part of this piece, or I cut this off of something that I polished in the past, so that's some old polish left on there. That is the milled finish that comes when you order it from the factory. And then we're going to start sanding it. So that is an even 220 there. Doesn't that look so pretty? Just that beautiful satin. Look at that grain. And we'll just keep going up in grits till we get to maybe 600 or so. Maybe it's 1,000, maybe 2,000, we'll see, and then we'll buff it to a polish. So I'll hit both sides here on this 220. You'll want to do a crosshatch pattern every time you switch grits. It'll make your sanding faster, but you'll also see if you have any scratch marks left from the previous grit. You can't miss it with this way. If you keep going in the same grain direction, you're sure to miss some. Until you get up to a very high grit, and then it's almost too late. That's a scratch pattern from 2,000 grit there. So pretty nice. Still very distinguishable scratches, I mean. Quite easy to see those scratches, but look at that reflection. There is a reflection there now. And here's the key part. We've got a spiral sewn wheel here, some compound, some rouge. And now I would keep with the grain. So whichever direction your grain was on your last sanding strokes, keep with that. You have a better finish.
Why don't you try this? You know, I see what you're saying, but I could also see it from this person's point of view as well. You know, maybe they're thinking this.
Don't have to worry about that coming out of there. See that? We have a well done lap joint there with a pin all the way through the tang. So it's pretty much immovable there now, but then when we get a handle scales butted up against that, then it won't be able to rock or wear into a rock either. Won't be able to seesaw or fulcrum off of that point there. That bowie is glued up, and we'll get to see it put together very soon, because we'll give it a day, and once the glue is set up and we can grind it in, then it's very quick. We have the leather work coming. I just wanted to tell you guys, or show you guys something neat here. So a practice that I picked up over the last little while, when I buy my steel, it comes in 36-inch long bar stock. So sometimes, like when you're measuring out a blade that is 9 inches or whatever it may be, you go as tight as you can, of course, and sometimes you get to the end, you have a piece that doesn't fit a pattern well. Over the last little while, what I've kind of set myself to do, to challenge myself creatively, is to take that piece of steel, whatever size it is, and I have to come up with some blade design out of it, make something out of it. So, when I was cutting out a couple the other day for these prevails, I had a short piece of steel left over, and I could have done a 3/16 inch thick bake apple, and that would have left me with probably an inch of steel scrapped. So instead, I drew up this little custom right here, and I'm really, really happy with it. What do you think of that? I wanted something with plenty of handle, and kind of, you know, some nice shaping to the handle. You see I have a hole here for a lanyard, doing 2 pins up here. Medium saber grind, very nice grind with a back switch there. What is that? What kind is that? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Wife just brought me a fresh hot muffin out of the oven. Perks of working at home. But yeah, this is one I just finished up, and I'm really excited. Actually thinking about copying it off and potentially making a production knife. We'll see it come together. Even thinking about putting a brass bolster here. Usually, or sometimes I'll throw these on the website to be purchased, but I don't know. I really like this one. I think I might keep this one for myself because the lines just work for my tastes. When we get a full forge finish on there, this is not heat treated yet. Full forge finish. I think I already picked out a piece of wood here. I'm going to be using a piece of purple stabilized box elder burl. And this stuff gets so dark and rich when it's done. It's just big enough for the handle to fit on there. It's gonna be a gorgeous, gorgeous little knife.